All right, we're into episode number 2. Before I go further, I'm going to share with you that much of what I'm talking about, what happened to me, the revelations I received about the spiritual condition of not just the denomination I was in, but the entire church, is in this book, Come Out of Her, God's People. I have not really been marketing this book because I feel I tell too much of my personal business in here. My own little personal tea. I'm all done with the cup of tea that I was drinking. But this book contains a lot of tea. So much tea that I had to change the names to protect the guilty. Okay? So there's much tea in here. Especially in the first half of the book. I changed the name of the minister who died. And that death, the enemy used that to bring me back into the church after God himself had told me to come out in 1983. And when I say told me, he put me on blast and scared the fool out of me and told me to come out. And I was out for 4 years, and then I went back because the new pastor of the church that I belonged to had died. And here's what I wrote. Reverend Kelly was known to preach hard. For one thing, I believe that anyone with high blood pressure or a bad heart should be particularly careful not to preach in the flesh in order to entertain the congregation. Reverend Kelly had both high blood pressure and heart disease. This was a preacher, he was in his 30s, who leaped out across the altar rail at the close of each sermon. He appeared to be frozen in midair for a second or two, leaping at least 5 feet above the floor. He always landed in the aisle as he screamed his sermon at the top of his lungs. There had been plenty of rumors circulating about Reverend Kelly, which included unconfirmed accusations of drug abuse and womanizing. Rumors are sometimes based in fact, and they are often unfounded. However, as much as I liked Reverend Kelly personally, I had firsthand knowledge of this man's iniquity on more than one occasion. And then I go through and I tell one instance in particular. Well, you got to get the book to find out the rest of this. But I wrote this book in 2004, and I did not publish it until 2010. Now, that's a long time. The reason for it is because the details in this book are all true. However, throughout the book, there were visions and dreams that I had, whatever I heard in the spirit, And I would say, and God said, and God revealed. And then after I wrote the book, God revealed that none of that was from him. At least not, most of it was not. And so I changed the book. I changed the title. I changed everything about it. And I rewrote the book and issued it out in 2010. But everything in here is true, based on fact and things that happened to me when I was in the institutional church. So I came back, and when I came back, I had some key enemies that kept their foot on me and my ministry and did everything they could to hinder me from making any kind of progress at all. And I'd gotten to a point that I went off and started my own church, and I found a way to keep the denomination out of my business. And I remember a week before I heard from God again that I had said, oh, I'm happy here. I got everything the way I wanted, and I don't have the elders and leaders of this church on my back. They don't care about what I'm doing. I can do what I want without their involvement. And so I'm happy. I will stay here for the duration. Well, a week after I said that, I had another very significant experience. I've talked about it before, but I think it's worth talking about it again. I had a dream where the Lord showed me that I had to come out. But he did not tell me at that point that I was coming out never to go back. So I assumed I was going to be sent to some other denomination or movement, because I was certainly leaning Pentecostal or charismatic, and I thought I would go there. But in this dream, he showed me myself, and he showed me a candle underneath a bed. It was lit, but nobody could see it. And he said to me, Pam, that is you. He said, you are a candle hidden under a bed in this place. And he said, you must leave. I cannot use you here. Now, I want to make it plain. He never indicated that he had ever used me there. He just simply said, I can't use you here. He didn't say any more. In other words, there was no suggestion that my ministry, which began among them in 1981, I stepped off for 4 years and preached out of my apartment. Then I came back. I stayed another 17, 18 years. And now he's telling me, I can't use you here. And I saw his feet, and I saw the robe, and I saw his body move. And he kind of turned back. I didn't see his face. And he said, but let them put you out. And that is exactly what I did. Okay? And I want it real plain. If I did not cooperate with them putting me out, the bold sister that I am, it would have been impossible. But my feeling was, well, God done spoke. He wants me out of here. I'm going to make it easy for them. I'm going to make it easy for them. They're working behind my back. I know exactly what they're doing. And I'm going to make it easy for them to put me out because God said he wants me out. And I do what God says. So, that is the point where I had seen all those years the spiritual condition of the church, not just by dreams, but by my own natural eye. But here was my mistake. I thought I could change that denomination's spiritual condition. That was my error. And my other error was that there were things in my own spiritual condition that needed to be changed. Okay? So that's where I'll end here. Now, if you want a copy of this book, as I say, there's a lot of tea up in here. But also a lot of wisdom too. If you want this, I will put a link below so that you can get it. If you're nosy and want to know more about me, this is the only place you're going to find it out, because I don't write about myself very much, okay? Because I know folk. I know how folk love to gossip and like to put two and two together and they off making six or something, all right? But now, these days, I pretty much don't care what folk think, okay? All right. And if you want to talk to me, I'll have information for that too. Okay, I got part 3 to move to. Episode 3. So get out your tea here.